I wanted to let you see from where the video started getting fuzzy to what I did, and I also want to give you an update on what I'm going to do today as I video. All right. So we got this pretty much flat. It needs a little more, nothing major. I'll do that probably off camera. I got the line pretty much cut in where I want it. I might want to move it a little bit, but right now I'm pretty happy with it. I did sleep on this. This is tomorrow. This is Christmas. This is Christmas 2019. My family's celebrating Christmas next week, so yeah, I'm home working in the shop. A couple things I definitely want to do. Let's get this up here. All right. I would like to round this probably back to here. I don't know if I'll take it that far though. That's going to move my line. If I take this back to here, then that's going to move my line. And I don't think I want to do that. I want to leave the line here. So I might shape that a little bit. Definitely flatten it off because I'm going to glue a pad and a recoil. I'm sorry. I'm going to glue a pistol grip cap to this area, and of course it has to be flat before I do that. And as I was looking at this last night, well, let's not go there yet. Okay, what I started to do off camera yesterday was this side, flattening this side off, and started to cut in this whole area. As you know from looking at the other side, this whole area is going to have to come out, and I started to cut that in, just roll it over basically to keep it in the same line. You know, like I said yesterday, it's like making earrings. You got to do the same on both sides. You got to do the same thing on both sides. To carry this line over, I'm just going to start cutting that in, which is what I did, and I'll feel as I start cutting this in, the line in on this side, I'll run my hand over and rasp it that way. Okay, I feel like it's right here. I'll start doing my line for my rasp here, and then eventually I'll tweak it in by looking back and forth from each side and modifying one side or the other, rasping the one side or the other a little bit to get it equal, to get it the same. One thing I noticed last night when I was looking at this and considering what I wanted to do you notice how this is flat? Look how there's a radius here, a flat spot, radius, flat spot, radius. I don't like that. Actually doesn't feel nice. When I put my hand there, I can feel it, and I don't like that. I want this to be a total, this whole area to be a total radius, no flat spot. That I hopefully should be able to do on camera today, and not a problem. I'll be using my favorite crossing file to do that job. I mentioned the crossing files in the file video, in the tools video. That'll be a perfect start with this side. I'll rasp it first to get the rough work out. But to blend it and make it smooth, it'll be this kind of action with my crossing file, which you'll see when I'm doing it. I did get that bump out. I noticed also, like I said, when you sleep on things, when you look at them after you're done actually working on it, your brain has a chance to, I don't know, process things a little better. There was a bump here, as you can see, it's white now, which obviously that was a high spot, just like we talked about when we started doing this area where I was rasping and it was getting white for the beechwood, and the rest of the surrounding area was brown, so I know I was taking the high spot off. This bump, which I found distasteful, I started to rasp that, and obviously it was a high spot, brown, white, brown. So we got the high spot now. Well, I noticed also here, it's, I don't know if you can see it, maybe the reflection, you can see the reflection bounce. It's a line right here. right there is a sharp edge. I wouldn't call it sharp, but it's an edge, and it's actually dips down here, right there. It's almost it's bad. So I'll blend all that in. And that'll be mostly once I rasp it a little bit to knock that, let's call that an edge, to knock that edge off. Then I'll go to the crossing file and blend that nicely. One last thing before I nix this section of the video is, well, let's show you the other side, which I don't know that that's going to do you a whole lot of good, but that's where I got off camera yesterday on the other side, just getting this area flat, and like I said earlier, starting to cut that line in. But as I was thinking today, before I came down here and shot this segment, that brown area, I mean, I rasped that pretty good. There's been quite a bit of wood removed, and that's stain, of course, from the factory, and it just got me concerned. I had expressed that in the video when I started cutting the wood. Am I going to be able to get rid of all this, which is all over the place, probably terribly here? We'll see. I think it's probably going to be really dark inside the pistol grip area. So my thought was, I may have to abandon the red stain. If I abandon the red stain, if I can't get these dark marks out, these stain marks that are in the grain, then I will go ahead and stain it walnut as it was stained from the factory. And of course, I guess I could put a very light stain on, I think they would call it like a chestnut color stain, some light stain. Then I could still do with the ebony grip cap and the ebony forend tip. But if I stain it a dark walnut, a la the stain from the factory, curly maple would look great. To be honest, I don't have a big enough piece of curly maple to do the forend tip, and I don't want to be buying some wood, to be honest. I've got enough wood in the back room. I thought about cocobolo. Cocobolo is a nice exotic wood, orange and purple stripes, mostly a dark brown. It does darken with age. So to put a walnut stain on this and a cocobolo cap and tip, they would eventually darken and blend more into the walnut. I don't particularly like that. I have amaranth, which is purple heart, be a nice grip cap. It also darkens with age. It sort of gets brownish. I could put a good urethane seal on it and hope that it would last. I don't know that I have a big enough piece. In fact, I don't think I definitely have a big enough piece to do hundreds of grip caps, but I don't think I have a big enough piece to do the forend tip. So that's my dilemma, and that's just my thought process. I'm letting you know that. We'll see. We'll see how the dark stain remains as we get this thing finished. Of course, what I will be doing, just a little heads up what I'll be doing, after I get all my detailing done and I'm pleased with the way the stock shape is, then I will use a finish stripper to strip off the remaining finish that CZ factory has applied. After I do that, then I'll go to the sanding block, to sandpaper. That's when we'll know for sure, is enough of this going to remain that I don't want to try a red stain on it. So there we go, guys. That's it for today. Well, not for today. That's it for this section, this segment, and I'll be back.